Big news breaking today as the Las Vegas Raiders make some major moves. We've got three massive stories to cover. The Raiders bringing in Norv Turner, Shedeur Sanders showing interest in the silver and black, and a crucial quarterback decision for Week 11. Let's break it all down. What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Let's start with one of the biggest news of this season. After the recent firings of offensive coordinator Luke Getsy and two other coaches, the Raiders have hired Turner as an offensive assistant consultant. Now, this is a big-time name because Turner was retired. He's 72 years old and hasn't coached in the NFL since 2019. When he was the head coach of the Silver and Black back in 2004 to 2005, he went 9-23. Looking back though, Turner was really trying to put a lot of pieces together because the Raiders were stripped down and moved on from many players, putting him in an awkward spot. Turner made his mark on plenty of NFL teams over the years, especially with his offensive strategies and knack for boosting quarterback performance. Now, even though his role with the Raiders is more of an advisory one, he's bringing some much-needed expertise to help shake things up in their offense. Now, there's been some circulation that Turner could be the Raiders' new OC, but let me be clear, Norv Turner is not the Raiders' new offensive coordinator. He was simply hired to help out his son, Scott Turner, who is the Raiders' new interim OC. The Raiders announced today that Turner's son, Scott Turner, will be the interim offensive coordinator, and senior offensive assistant Joe Philbin will be the interim offensive line coach. The younger Turner has been the Raiders' pass game coordinator and was Washington's offensive coordinator from 2020 to 2022. Joe Philbin spent 4 years as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Then there is Marvin Lewis, the former Bengals head coach with 16 seasons under his belt, and Tom Coughlin, a two-time Super Bowl winning head coach, now consulting for Pierce. Ian Rappaport broke the news this morning that the Raiders are bringing in one of the NFL's most respected offensive minds to help guide their offense. Unfortunately, Getsy proved to be the Raiders' offensive coach ever. Have you checked the stats? Under Getsy, the Raiders had one of the league's worst offenses, ranking 29th overall. They're sitting at 19th in passing, but their run game is dead last in the entire 32-team league, with just 76.9 rushing yards per game. Scoring-wise, they're struggling too, ranking 26th and averaging only 18.7 points a game. So, this move shows that this Raiders team isn't just going to lay over and play dead at 2-7. Antonio Pierce and this entire staff know if they want a job next season, they have to win this season. Antonio Pierce has already brought in Joe Philbin, Marvin Lewis, Tom Coughlin, and now Norv Turner to help right the ship. I hope this will work. Now, move to the next news. There are some interesting developments around Shedeur Sanders. The standout quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes and son of NFL legend Aidan Sanders has declared his intention to enter the 2025 NFL Draft. In a recent class, when discussing plans for the upcoming semester, Sanders candidly stated he won't be present, as he's set to join the league. This announcement aligns with his impressive collegiate performance, where he has showcased exceptional passing accuracy and leadership on the field. NFL analysts are already projecting him as a top prospect for the 2025 draft, with some considering him a potential first-round pick, and currently the Silver and Black hold the number 6 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Have you noticed Sanders' tweets? These are weird. After every Raiders loss this season, he tweeted, "Thank you, God." Now, I'm not saying these tweets are definitely about the Raiders losing, but here's what we do know. Both Shedeur and Aidan have listed the Silver and Black as a top destination for 2025. Before moving on, I want to ask you a simple question. Do you want Shedeur Sanders to be the Raiders quarterback next season? I want everyone to comment here. Now, the final and the most important news is that Antonio Pierce failed to name a starting quarterback after the last game, and he's taking hours and hours to evaluate with the new offensive coordinator, which, as I mentioned, is the young Scott Turner. So, who should start, Gardner Minshew or Desmond Ritter? For me, I believe it's time to start Desmond Ritter. Now, I'll be real, I don't have a lot of confidence in Ritter. I don't think anybody watching right now can confidently say our season is saved with Desmond Ritter. If anything, it's more about what we've seen from Gardner Minshew. When Gardner Minshew steps out on the field right now, I've never seen somebody with less confidence in himself. Honestly, I don't know how any Raiders player can have confidence in Minshew when he doesn't seem to believe in himself. This is the point of the season where we need confidence as a football team. As a coaching staff, you need to ooze confidence even if you don't believe it, and when Minshew is in that huddle right now, there's just no confidence there. I don't know if Ritter's going to bring more confidence, but here's what I do know. Ritter's desperate. This is probably his last opportunity to get a shot in the NFL to start, and sometimes desperate players show up and play outside of their mind. Ritter also offers more with his legs, which is crucial if our offensive line is as banged up as I think it could be in Week 11. We need a quarterback that can show some scalability. Just think about how often the pocket starts to collapse, and Minshew ends up doing his best Derek Carr impression, crumbling and going straight down. Ritter, on the other hand, is a bit more athletic. Sure, he needs to work on ball control. He did fumble this past week, but his mobility could really help open up the run game with Alexander Mattison. Ritter's athleticism isn't just about moving around, it's about staying cool and adaptable under pressure, which is exactly what the Raiders need right now. And for me, there is another big reason for making this change. The Raiders need a fresh start. I'm not trying to speak on behalf of the entire nation here, but we need something different. Do the Raiders have a better chance of winning with Ritter than they do with Minshew? I honestly don't know if it makes any difference. Some people might say, we need to tank, but I think the Raiders aren't going to be that good of a football team either way. And here is another factor to consider. We all know that Aidan O'Connell is not coming back until Week 13. And when Aiden went down with that thumb injury against the Rams, they put him on injury reserve, which means he's out for at least 4 games. This injury needs a 4 to 6 week to recover, hopefully, but short-term injury reserve means 4 games minimum. He missed the last 2 games against the Chiefs, then the Bengals. Now we have a bye week, then weeks 11 and 12 are the other 2 games he will miss. That puts Aiden on track to return for the Black Friday game against the old rival, Chiefs in Arrowhead. O'Connell being out has definitely taken some of the energy out of this team, but the thought of him coming back, that could be the spark we need, especially with a high-stakes game against the Chiefs coming up. His return could give the whole squad a boost just when we need it most. My point is this. I want Aidan O'Connell to be the Raiders' starting quarterback once he returns, unless Ritter wins his next 2 starts. I think a lot of Raiders fans have more confidence in Aidan O'Connell, and they want to show this team isn't totally giving up. We're in a tough situation as Raiders fans because while we want a better draft pick, of course, for the next season, we also need to figure out if Antonio Pierce is the guy or not. The way to figure this out is by mixing things up. If Pierce struggled with Luke Getsy and Gardner Minshew, let's see what he can do with Ritter and Scott Turner. And after that, let's see what he can do with O'Connell and Turner. The more combinations we test out, the clearer a picture we'll get of what kind of coach Antonio Pierce really is. Because if we're bringing in a new quarterback next season, whether it's Shedeur Sanders or someone else, we've got to be sure we have the right head coach and play caller. Both of these pieces are crucial for the Raiders' future success. All right, Raider Nation, there you have it. The latest news and my breakdown of what's coming up. Now, I want to hear from you. Who do you think should get the start in Week 11? And how are you feeling about all these changes in the coaching lineup? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're always in the loop with every Raiders update. We've got a lot more coming your way, so stay tuned, and as always, go Raiders!